Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we have another shop talk video, and today we're going to be talking about the downfall of junkyards and why it's just not feasible to buy parts from them anymore. Now before we go ahead and begin, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Definitely smash the like button because it helps the channel out. And with that said, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. So today we're going to be talking about junkyards, and the feasibility of buying parts from them is no longer what it used to be because a lot of these junkyards are just, absolutely crazy with their pricing. Now, I will start off this video by saying that I rarely use used parts or junkyard parts. It's not that they're not good. It's the fact that it's sometimes very difficult on, let's say, getting major components from a junkyard and knowing if they're good or bad. Because in previous shops that I worked in, we would order engines, transmissions from, all these salvage yards or junkyards, and they'd say, hey, we pulled it out of a running working car. It just had a fender hit, and that's why it got junked out. And then, you buy this engine transmission, do your own testing, or you go install it, and you find out that it's completely crap, and you just did all that work for nothing. So here in my shop, I don't really use a lot of junkyard parts, but every now and then, if there's a situation where something's hard to get, or there's a feasibility that the customer, wants to keep the car running and is okay getting junkyard parts, that I will, I guess you can say make an exception or be like, hey, listen, we can go this route. It's a 50-50 shot if you want to try it out. And most of the time, if you buy a junkyard part and it doesn't work, as long as it's not like a crazy labor involving task, I'm okay with, going the junkyard route, even though I prefer not to, just for liability reasons and warranty reasons and things like that. Being a shop owner, you got to be able to warranty something and be liable for repairs, and putting a used part that you may not know the history on, not a lot of people want to take that chance. And to be honest with you, I don't really like it either. But every now and then, depending on what it is, as long as my customers know up front and we're on the same page, I don't mind going for it. So the whole topic of this video is going to be why junkyards to me are no longer really worth it, and their price gouging and explosion in prices is just, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, next to me, for those of you that work on vehicles, you will know that I have a high pressure pump sitting next to me. Now, this thing looks pretty clean and new because, these usually are under covers and they're pretty much hidden out of the way. They don't really get too dirty. And this came out of I believe a 2015 Honda Accord. I had an issue where it would just start and die, and we had fuel, but we didn't have high fuel pressure. I went through the whole diagnostic charts to find out that something ain't working right in here, and honestly, there's no way to open these up. I don't really know what you can get in there and fix or not fix, so diagnosed it, verified that it's failed. Called up the dealer, and this was kind of like a double hitter with this part from the dealer. One, it's super expensive. I think this pump is like $1,200 if I remember correctly. And secondly, they didn't have it in stock. It would be like a week or two on back order or something. It wasn't horrible, but it would cause the car to be here for a little while. And this car needed to be up and running because I believe, if I remember the scenario correctly, they were moving out of state or something like that, where it had to go out of state. And they didn't have the time to wait. It would have cramped them up. So what I wound up suggesting is that, hey, there's a local junkyard. It looks like they have it, and they're able to sell it to me. And the part was available. I'm like, if you guys want to go with a junkyard part, since we're in a cramp, as long as you're willing to sign a waiver, not blaming me if the part fails or whatever, because there's not a good warranty on that. I'm like, I could probably go out there and pull it off and get this thing for you. And they're like, yeah, sure, if you can, that would be great. So I rarely leave the shop and go to a junkyard, especially during business hours. But on this particular day, I wound up closing up early and trying to help out this customer. Drove down to my local junkyard, which is about 10-15 minutes or so from where I'm at. Drove down there, went through the yard, paid the fee. Now, here's the thing. The door fees to get into your local junkyard, at least here, they used to be like $1. Last time I went, which is, probably a few years back. And now it's jumped up to $2 now. Not a big deal. $2 to get in. Not not bad. I'm not cheap or saying that's a lot, but it was just surprising how it's doubled up. Even though it was $2, it doubled up. And I was talking to the guy at the door because I hadn't been there in a while, and just kind of, you know, shooting the crap. And he's like, they're probably going to raise it up to like $5 or $10 per entry pretty soon. I was like, wow, that's quite a bit. But anyway, whatever. It's still $5-10. Nah, not horrible. It's really crappy how they charge you to get in, but I get it. Sometimes people go there, they don't get anything. So, you know, got to make money somehow, pay the bills. I get it. So either way, I finally get in, you know, pay the fee, find the car, go ahead and take off my high pressure fuel pump. And, you know, commonly if you go to a junkyard, the way it typically works is if this is a $1,200 part brand new, to find a used one at a junkyard, I mean, I'm used to getting things for like 30%. You know, at cost or whatever. So if this is $1,200 realistically at my local junkyard, I would expect to pay maybe $200, $300, something like that. Typically, they'll just look at the part and be like, you know, like, give me this much for it. There's never really been a ranking system, I guess, up until recently, and they started identifying more parts, so they're not losing on profits. They're getting a little bit tighter. So, like I said, brand new one of these, $1,200, and you'd have to wait about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So go to the junkyard, pull it out, get it. And, you know, it's not like there's prices at a junkyard. For those of you guys have been there, you know, you pull your part, you walk up to the front, to the kiosk, and you show them, and then they're like $50 or $100. They'll just kind of gauge the part like that. And it's been years since I've been to a junkyard. My last experience, I went there, grabbed what I needed, which was like a climate control cluster and a gauge bezel, and it was all interconnected. And I get to the kiosk back, you know, 10 years ago, whenever this was, and they just looked at it like, what do you got there? I'm like, I got a bezel and a climate control unit. They're like, the bezel you can have for free if you buy the climate control unit. The climate control unit was like $25, you know? So realistically, I got a free part. Like, they're making money on these cars, like, handsomely, to say the least, when they sell parts. So especially when you bought a car for $500 and you just sell like 10 parts off of it, you made your money back and then some. But either way, go up there this time, again, 2024, and, you know, I'm holding this thing, you know, just like this. And now this is the one that I took off the car, and, you know, holding it, put it on the counter, and like, oh, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's a high pressure fuel pump. They're like, okay, they look it over, you know, trying to figure it out. They just read that these are all Denso units. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but either way, they're like, oh, Denso, this and that. They click a couple buttons on the computer, and they tell me, all right, it's $850. I'm like, excuse me? $8.50? They're like, no, $850. I'm like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, it's a high pressure fuel pump. You know, retail, they're $1,200, and it looks like they have hard availability. I'm like, holy crap! Like, in that one split second moment, in my mind, I'm like, not only are these guys running part numbers and knowing what they're selling you, but they know the MSRP, and they probably have something in their computer that tells them availability on stuff, so they could jack up the price on you if need be. Now, I don't know if this is just a Chicago market thing or a big city thing, but I don't recall this ever being a thing. And if any of you out there that are in, like, you know, rural areas and have junkyards, if you can tell me if your junkyard does this. But for me, it was just really, really weird. I've never had this before. So in a split second, my mind's racing. I'm thinking a million things. I'm like, what the crap? Like, I'm like, are you serious? And I'm joking. I'm like, are you sure you're not saying $8.50? Because $850 for this? I could buy the whole car that's in the junkyard that's scrapped out for that much. And they're like, no, that's what that part goes for. And I'm like, geez. And at that point, I'm like, all right, hold on. I take the part, walk back to that car, and just, you know, put it back on the engine. And, you know, I proceed to walk out of there and go in the car, call my customer, and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm at the junkyard, and this is a situation. They want $850. And I'm like, realistically, for $850, I mean, I'm not buying that junkyard part on there. Like, forget it. It's not worth it. Like, I don't care even if you're okay paying that and you're okay with the risk. Like, that to me is a freaking scam. Like, I was expecting that thing to be a couple $100. And, you know, the customer agreed for what it was after me talking to them for a minute. Like, you know, it is what it is. And it was in their best interest to just wait for Honda to get the new part. And that's what we wound up doing. And that's what this whole video is about. When I was young, and I used to go to the junkyards a lot, I remember things were just, like, 25, 50, $100, things like that. And if you bought $100 worth of stuff, usually you had like a wheelbarrow or you had like an engine. I remember going in there, ripping off an engine and paying $200-300 for the whole engine or a trans or whatever. And it's been years, don't get me wrong. I rarely go to Junkyard's anymore. I just don't have the time, but trust me, it's like one of my most favorite things that I wish I could still do, where I wish I had free time and just go there and spend the day and just, you know, not even that I need stuff, but just go there and like rip stuff apart, because I'm the type of person that every time I go to Junkyard, I hate it when people break stuff to get to what they need. And it's really calming for me to just go there and just basically take parts off a car and leave it on the car, so somebody needs it, they can just pick it up instead of sitting there and, you know, trying to figure out how to get it off or breaking stuff to get to what they need. It's always been a pet peeve of mine in Junkyard. People are really inconsiderate. It's if they need a fuse box located behind a kick panel, they'll just go there and grab it, rip it off, break the tabs when there might be someone that needs that kick panel. So, you know, stuff like that is what I would love to do when I have free time. Just go out there and just do that. But honestly, with family and everything going on in the world today, and, you know, life, adulting, I don't have that, you know, that freedom or liberty to just take that time and do that. I got a lot of stuff that I got to do. I'm, you know, real busy. But like I said, 10 years ago when I went, parts were just cheap. And the Junkyards didn't operate on the we're going to research the part that we're selling you philosophy. To see that now in modern junkyard times, which I get it, things are going to modernize, everything goes through it, to find a junkyard that is doing their research and they know exactly what they're selling you. And then the thing was, like, why did they even bother asking me what it was? I felt kind of stupid because I'm over there and I'm telling them how a high pressure pump from a Honda, when they're clearly just going to take it, run the part number and tell themselves, or, you know, look it up and know what they have, what they're selling, what they go for, availability, new, used, whatever. It's almost like calling a non-self-service junkyard. And here's the thing, I get some junkyards are expensive. Like if you call certain body shops, I'm sorry, not body shops, certain junkyards in the Chicagoland area, some of them have already pre-pulled a part for you, or they pull the parts for you. They don't allow you to go in the yard. And then you can expect to pay a premium like $500 or $600 for something like this, because they might have to pay the guy to go there and physically take it off. But the convenience of a self-service yard is pay a couple bucks to get in, they make their money that way, and then they buy a car for $500 realistically, because cars nowadays, you know, the values are up. Most cars are sold between $500 to $1,000 for scrap. And, you know, they put it out on there, people pick parts and they'll make, you know, 50, 100, 25 bucks like that. You know, like I said, sell about 10 parts off the car, and then the whole car is free for them, and then everything else is cake and money. They run their car for about 5, maybe, you know, 7-8 months, depending on how popular it is. They'll let people pick at it, and then when it gets pretty well picked, the car becomes just crushed metal, and they wind up making their money on the steel or whatever. So they make money either way. But now it's elevated. I mean, like I said, if it wasn't like a pick and pull yard where you go in there and you pick and pull your own parts, I expect it to be cheap. But if it was a place where they pull it for you, yeah, I can see it being a little bit more expensive. But the pick and pull lot telling me that this was, you know, almost $900, like, come on. No way, I'm not buying that. So long story short, got the part from Honda, fixed the car, everybody was happy. But I thought I would share this experience with you, because it's really weird how used parts now are pretty much almost exactly the same price as a new part. It's almost like there's a whole monopoly going on here. Like they're all in cahoots. I don't know exactly, but I'm the type of person that for that type of money, I'm gonna wait. I don't care if I gotta wait. And I'm gonna tell my customer it's in your best interest to wait. You know, even though at the end of the day they can choose what they want to do, but when it came to me and my shop, if they wanted me to do that job, they were gonna wait. And I told them, if you don't want to wait, you want to go through a junkyard route, you can come pick up your car. It's totally fine. I get it, but I'm not willing to put that kind of money and have an issue with you over it. If there ever was to be an issue arising. So just my 2 cents on it, guys. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe, because it definitely helps the channel grow. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next video.